Mastering corporate sustainability practices. Corporate leaders must dance with policymakers to drive sustainable change. How does its leadership and stakeholders collaborate with policymakers and regulators to address emerging sustainability issues and advocate for policy changes that support its corporate sustainability goals and vision? To effectively collaborate with policymakers and regulators, a company can establish a dedicated public affairs team that serves as a liaison between the organization and government entities. This team should be comprised of professionals with expertise in government relations, public policy, and sustainability. The public affairs team should engage in regular dialogue with policymakers and regulators to stay informed about emerging sustainability issues and regulatory developments. This can be achieved through 1. Participation in government industry roundtables and forums, attend workshops, conferences, and seminars organized by government agencies, industry associations, and NGOs to stay updated on policy changes, emerging trends, and best practices. 2. Building relationships with policymakers and regulators, foster personal relationships with key stakeholders, such as senators, representatives, agency administrators, and their staff members, to facilitate open communication and trust. 3. Conducting policy analysis and research, analyze existing policies, proposed legislation, and regulatory changes to identify opportunities for collaboration and advocacy. 4. Developing position papers and policy briefs, create concise, evidence-based documents outlining the company's stance on specific sustainability issues, proposed policy changes, and recommended actions for policymakers. The company should also engage its stakeholders in the policy-making process by 1. Establishing a stakeholder advisory board, convene a board comprising representatives from NGOs, academia, industry associations, and community groups to provide diverse perspectives on sustainability issues and policy recommendations. 2. Conducting public consultations, organize town hall meetings, webinars, and online surveys to gather feedback from stakeholders on policy proposals, sustainability goals, and emerging issues. 3. Collaborating with industry associations, partner with industry associations to amplify the company's voice, share best practices, and coordinate advocacy efforts. To advocate for policy changes, the company can 1. Engage in direct lobbying, meet with policymakers and regulators to present the company's position on specific policies, highlighting the benefits of proposed changes for the environment, economy, and society. 2. Participate in public consultations, respond to government requests for comment on proposed policies, providing detailed, evidence-based feedback on the potential impacts of policy changes. 3. Support collaborative advocacy efforts, join forces with NGOs, industry peers, and community groups to amplify the company's advocacy efforts and demonstrate broad support for policy changes. 4. Utilize thought leadership platforms, leverage speaking engagements, op-eds, and social media to showcase the company's sustainability thought leadership, highlighting the business case for policy changes and inspiring action among policymakers and stakeholders. To ensure the effectiveness of these efforts, the company should 1. Establish key performance indicators, KPIs, to measure the impact of advocacy efforts on policy outcomes and sustainability goals. 2. Conduct regular progress assessments, adjusting strategies as needed to ensure alignment with evolving policy landscapes and stakeholder expectations. 3. Foster a culture of transparency and accountability, reporting on policy advocacy efforts and their outcomes to stakeholders through annual sustainability reports or dedicated website sections. By adopting this collaborative and proactive approach, the company can effectively engage with policymakers and regulators, advocating for policy changes that support its corporate sustainability goals and vision while contributing to a more sustainable future.